How's it going, everybody? I'm Seth Feroce. I am an IFBB pro bodybuilder. This status has been a lifelong dream of mine. As everybody knows, they have adversity in life. They need inspiration. They need to find motivation. That's one of the things I'm here to tell everybody about. My story. I've gone through a lot of adversity over the years, and today I'm going to give you my story and how I got to this point, and fulfilling my dream and living it every day. We're going to go back a while. When I was 13 years old, I was the fat kid. I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. My nickname was Chubbs. That was the name that my friends gave me. I really didn't like it too much. I was a young 13-year-old guy going through puberty. Everybody has self-esteem issues at that point in their life, and I was no different. I couldn't take it anymore. I specifically remember the day that I decided to change my mind. I was sitting on the couch at home, eating Snyder's barbecue potato chips, sitting there watching TV and flicking through the channels, and I came across an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I always remember I saw my dad watch them all the time, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this. Dad watches it, and he came on, and it was the beginning of the movie, and it was whenever Arnold was carrying this big log on his shoulder. The movie was Commando. Some of you probably know what it is, but right whenever I saw that, I said, I want to be like that. I want to have those giant muscles, and I want to be, it was just something that I saw that I wanted to do. So I watched the whole movie. I put the bag of potato chips away, and I remember whenever my dad came home from work that day, I said, Dad, I want to lift weights. Kind of looked at me like, okay, sure. So he said, he'll bring home the sand weights from whenever he used to lift weights back in the 70s and 80s. So sure enough, that weekend he came home. He brought home some of the weights. It was the old barbell with the sand weights, and then a couple dumbbells. And sure enough, that's where it all began. I went to a Catholic school whenever I was in grade school, up until 8th grade, and I started lifting. I think it was like end of 7th, 8th grade whenever I started lifting weights. And I wanted to play football. I said I want to play sports. I want to try. So whenever I went to high school, I went to a public school, and I went out and played football and wrestled that year. I was actually pretty good. I turned out to be pretty athletic. I started getting in shape. But those sports taught me the mental and physical toughness. It really showed me that you got to be pretty tough to compete at those things, especially wrestling, with the weight drop and the brutality of the workouts and just being physical with other people. But after those seasons were over, my dad took me to my first gym. It's called York's Gym. It's in New Ken, Pennsylvania, where I live today. It was the hardcore gym. I mean, I still remember the smell whenever I first walked in. Whenever I walked in, I mean, my dad took me in, and he still says to this day, that's the day I lost you. Because whenever I walked in, he saw that I fell in love. That's where I wanted to be. And from then on, I pretty much stayed there. That was my second home. I mean, everybody knew me there, and I fell in love with becoming a bodybuilder. That's whenever I figured out that that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be a professional bodybuilder. I want to live the lifestyle. I want to lift weights and make money and be something and be inspirational, because over those years, I had so many people inspire me locally that it was unbelievable. I mean, today I still see them on a regular basis, and they say to me, you never gave up. I never gave up. But at some of those points, I mean, even like as growing through that phase of my teenage years, the friends that called me Chubbs, I'm 26 years old now, they still call me Chubbs. The name never lost. But I went through high school. I graduated. I decided I went to college. It was a good experience. I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It was a pretty wild school. But I got a degree in safety sciences, which OSHA, EPA, and DP regulations, and not really related to physical fitness, but I kind of self-taught myself over the years. But anyway, in college, I had a lot of fun, like a lot of people do. But in college, I believe I was a junior. I got my girlfriend pregnant. It was a devastating time, but at that point, I never gave up on my dream. I was still dreaming of being a bodybuilder, and that was a devastating point in my life. A lot of people told me, Seth, you have to put all that shit behind you and move on. You can't worry about this stuff. And I said, no. I said, I still want to live my dream. You know, they were like, no, and they were right. I had to focus on what was important, and that was my family. I knew my girlfriend at the time. She was my wife now. I had to put her first, and the baby, and everything was important. So I had to end up taking 52 credits my senior year. I had to get approval from all the from my counselors and whatnot, but I got the approval to do it, and I ended up everything ended up great. I graduated, but at that point, I had so many people say, Seth, you're not going to make it. You have to stop, and I wasn't taking no for an answer. There was no way I was going to give up on my dream. So I told my girlfriend at the time, Elise, my wife now, I said, Elise, don't take this away from me. I said, give me just this one thing. I said, I don't have to go out with my friends. I don't need to party. I don't need to do anything. Just never take the gym away from me. Please don't do that. Just let me have this one thing. And at the time, you know, she said, well, of course, you know, that's the one thing you enjoy, and I love you, and I want you to succeed. I believe in you. And she was about the only person that believed in me and said, Seth, you can do it. So I remember I worked 2 jobs. I worked at the bar, and then I worked for my father. I went to school. I took those 52 credits, and I trained at a gym that was 24 hours. I trained at like 1 a.m. And I mean, I really didn't sleep at all that time. But the thing was, I never gave up. I wasn't taking no for an answer. Through all that, I just wasn't taking no for an answer. Everything worked out after that for a little bit. I ended up going to work for Kokosin Construction as a safety consultant. I did a lot of road construction stuff. It was great. I worked from them from 2008 to about the middle of 2009. In 2008, at this point, I still wasn't competing as a bodybuilder. In 2008, I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was their safety consultant, and I met a lot of great people out there, a lot of people that were getting me inspired to start competing in bodybuilding, because they were saying, Seth, you're really good. You should get on stage. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. Excuse me. And that was how I felt. But one thing led to another. I got promoted and moved to Cleveland. Moved the whole family up there. And again, I met some more people that were into competing, and I said, you know what? I said, I think I might do it soon. My wife at the time, we just got done looking at some pictures online at musculardevelopment.com, and after a show, and she's like, Seth, you can beat these people. I know you can. I was like, I don't know. She's like, I know for a fact. The guy that just turned pro, she says, you can beat him. You need to start competing, because I'm not putting up with your crap anymore, this eating, training, and da-da-da, and you're not competing. And I was like, okay. So I put together a game plan, and in 2009, I began competing. I remember my first show was the NPC Northern Kentucky. It was in March 14th, and at that show, I won. I won the heavyweight class, and worked out great. And everybody was like, wow. After the show, they're like, you look great. You know, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to go do the Mr. Pittsburgh show. I said, the Mr. Pittsburgh I'm from Pittsburgh, and I said, I want to do that show because that's the big show. Between that time, I met some people into the industry. One person being Steve Bleckman, the owner of Muscular Development magazine, and Hani Rambod, the pro creator, the best trainer on earth. They said, Seth, we'd like to come and see you at the Pittsburgh show. I was like, what? They're like, I heard you're pretty good. You have potential. And I was kind of taken back, like, why are you coming to see me? So at that time, I was like, let's go. Let's see what we can do. You know, I'm just gonna push to the next level. And Hani gave me some tips and lead it into the Pittsburgh. And it turns out I went and I won. Won my light heavyweight class, and I won the overall. And I said, all right. Well, at that show, all of a sudden, everybody created a buzz about me. Hani Rambod said, me and you are going to work together, and we're going to take you to the next level. Steve Bleckman, the owner of Muscular Development, saw me, and he said, I'm flying you to Venice. We're going to do a photo shoot with you in California. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Really? And it turned out, yeah, I mean, we did it, and went out there, did the photo shoot. It was a lifelong dream, you know, to be in a magazine. It was just incredible. So after that, we decided I talked to Hani, and I said, I want to, you know, attempt to turn professional at one of the shows. And the show that we chose was the 2009 Nationals. Meanwhile, I just started competing in March of 2009. So I've done the 2 shows and I won, and I already got into a magazine. I created some buzz, and it was a really uplifting time. I was like, yeah, I said, this is great. I got a good job. I got one of the best trainers in the world behind me. I got Muscular Development magazine. I'm going to be in articles. I just did a photo shoot with them. Everything was great. About 3 weeks later, I lost my job at Kokosing. It was devastating. At that same time, we found out that my wife was pregnant again. And then a few weeks after that, we lost the baby. All of a sudden, we went from being on this giant high, everything was so great, to this absolute low that we didn't know what to do. It was a really rough time for both of us. We were both emotional mess from losing the baby. With work, you can always find work, but it was a time whenever we didn't know what to do with ourselves, because we were away from family. We really didn't know what to do with ourselves. It was a devastating time, but regardless, we had to find out how to push through it, because we still had a very healthy 2-year-old at the time, and we still do. She's 4 now, but at the time we needed to find out what to do to help to get to the next level. My trainer, Hani Rambod, was, I look at him as more than a friend now, because he really helped me get through those times. Both of our families were very supportive, and they still are, but at that time we had to step it up. So we pretty much put all of our eggs into the basket of me doing nationals and turning professional. I know that's a hard thing to say, but at the time it was the recession in the economy in the U.S., and we really couldn't, there really wasn't a lot of work for safety professionals. My wife, she had to quit school because she was pregnant, and we didn't really have too much. But regardless, we had to push through. At 2009 Nationals, all I did was work. All I did was work. It was hard work. Hani explained to me that you have the potential, you just have to do the work. So throughout the whole preparation for Nationals, all I did was focus on training, making money for my family, and working my butt off. I did so much I probably did 2.5 hours of cardio a day for about 10 weeks straight. I did an hour and 15 in the morning and an hour and 15 at night, and I trained in the middle of the day. Again, I didn't sleep too much at that time. But again, my wife, who, God bless her soul, lived with me, dealt with all my crap, and it was pretty intense. But the whole time, leading up to that show, actually, when I was about, I think it was 8 weeks out from the show, is whenever Muscular Development magazine decided to sponsor me for Nationals. I actually started getting paid a little bit of money to do that show, so it was pretty exciting. Leading up, Hani was just saying, Seth, he says, just kind of go into your little cubbyhole and not listen to what anybody has to say, because all of a sudden, as the show got closer, I started getting a lot of people saying that I couldn't do it. Again, saying, Seth, you're wasting your time. There's no way you're going to win this show. This is the biggest show in America. You're wasting your time. Don't even try. And I said, no, this is the only chance I got in my life at being a professional bodybuilder. This is it. Because after this, there's no way I'm going to have the money. There's no way I'm going to have the support. There's no way I can put anything else into it. So I had to put my life and soul into it now. And I was getting emails. I had a forum on muscular development. I had people saying that, you're wasting your time. You suck. There's no way you're going to compare to this guy and this guy. And that's the type of stuff that I thought about the whole time I was doing my cardio and the whole time I was doing my training, was just the adversity and saying, I'm not giving up. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to win. And it turns out, as we got closer and closer to the show, everybody said, Seth, let's see some pictures of you to see how you look. And I talked to my trainer, and he said, no. He said, don't give anybody pictures. Don't send anybody pictures. And I'm like, why not? And he said, just don't do it. He says, you don't need that crap. You need to be focused on the show, and that's it. So just do your training, and that's it. I said, okay. And so as we got closer to the show, I remember we got down to Fort Lauderdale in Florida for Nationals, and we're in there. I'm nervous. My brother's there. My family's there. Everybody came down to the show, because I think they were the only people, my family, were the only ones that said, Seth, you're going to do this. You look phenomenal. You have it. And I'm a nervous wreck, and I don't even recollect parts of it. I just remember just working my butt off. And we get to the show, and I remember at weigh-ins, I saw everybody. I saw Tamer Al-Gundi. I saw Brandon Ray, Al Augusti. I saw everybody. And I was just like, wow, these are the guys that everybody's talking about that I'm going to lose to. And I remember Hani telling me that he says, whenever you're in line for weigh-ins, you're going to take your clothes off until you get to the scale. Like, okay, sure, that's, whatever, that's fine. But then meanwhile, we're in line and everybody else is stripped down and I'm like the only one in my clothes. And he says, just keep going. So we're in line and everybody at weigh-ins, if you've never been to a weigh-ins, everybody who's anybody in the industry is right there watching you. And I'm standing there, I'm the only one in my jumpsuit and everybody else is in their suit. And I get up there and I look over and I'm 2 people back from the scale and I look over and I see Honey and he's like, good. So I take everything off, up my pants, and all of a sudden I'm like, I was kind of nervous because, I don't know, I didn't think too much of it. I look out and everybody's just staring at me. I felt like a deer in headlights. I was like, oh no. And then I just saw two of my friends. I saw Hani and a couple other friends, and they're like, and at that point I was like, I must look really good. And then I would get there, and then I turned around and I saw all my Tamer, who's actually a very good friend of mine. He looked at me and he said, "You look unbelievable, unbelievable." And I was kind of taken back because I thought he looked incredible. I mean, he's the Razor. He was just he's shredded. And he says, I work hard. I work very hard. But this, you can see that you work harder than I work. And right there, that's whenever for at that point I was taken back and I said, like, oh my God, like it was an aha moment for me. I felt touched because we're such good friends now, and because he does work incredibly hard. He's a professional now as well, and he really made me feel that like all the effort I put forth has really paid off. Needless to say, I shut up all the naysayers and I won that show. I turned professional. I got a bigger contract with Muscular Development magazine. I got sponsored by the biggest supplement company in the world, Muscle Tech. And today I'm still with them, and it's a blessing. It was a really, probably the most uplifting moment at that point. As we go forth, my next show, everybody's, after that, everybody's, what are you going to do next, da-da-da. And I said that, okay, we're going to do a professional show. And again, the next show that we did was the 2010 Europa Super Show. It was down in Dallas, Texas. And needless to say, I won the 202 Pro division at that show as well. And from there, again, Muscular Development said, good job. And the lifelong dream of me being on the cover of their magazine came true. I still look at this magazine today and I can't believe it. This is something I remember buying my first magazine when I was 16 years old. I remember Roland Zerlock was on the cover of it and I was like, I want to be on the cover of Muscular Development magazine. And today I still look at this because when I'm at a show, I mean, people bring this magazine, they'll bring the cover and have me sign it, and I'm just like, I can't believe you're having me sign the cover of Muscular Development and it's me on it. It really is another aha moment, but it's really happening. And the best part about all this is the fact that I'm just me. It's just hard work. No matter what you're doing in life, no matter what the adversity is, no matter what other people say, no matter what happens to you, you still can do it. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding related. You're going to face adversity. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that put you in the dumps and say, I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of it. But the thing is, you got to find it. You got to be inspired. You have to get up and do it. You can't get down. Because with all the things that my wife and I have been through, I can't tell you how many times we cried together at night saying that we're not going to make it. What are we doing? How is this even possible that we're enduring this? And somehow we come out smelling like roses. It really is touching, and I mean, I'm humbled by every experience. I mean, I'm looking at this magazine now and I'm thinking, Jay Cutler, my idol growing up. I remember a giant poster on my door, on the back of my door in my bedroom. He signed, and now I'm on the cover of him, and he's the small picture and I'm the big picture. I mean, it's and I talk to Jay as a friend because he also works with Hani, and It's just incredible. And like I said, no matter what happens to you in life, you can change things. It happened to me at a young age. The nickname thing killed me. It still today I look back and I laugh about it and I get a kick about it because it's kind of changed. But it had a serious impact on me. It's changed my entire life. Everybody has these things in life that they feel that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to change it. You have to change it. You need something inspiring. You need something to help you get there, but you ultimately have to do it. It's all about you saying, I'm not taking no for an answer. And because of all these people and all the support that I have and everything what's happened for me and inspiring me, I want to help inspire you. I want to help you get to the next level. I want you to become the person that you want to become. And I know that the problem is sometimes you don't get that solid information. You don't get the real information that you need to hear that says, that sounds relevant. That sounds like the logical thing to do. Because a lot of times things get shot over your head. But regardless, I'm putting on a free webinar. You can go to SethFeroceTraining.com, and I'm going to go into detail about things to help, knowledge, training tips. I'm going to explain to you like the hot training styles, training techniques, things to push through plateaus on training. Like everybody goes to the gym and they're like, I just can't get through the next thing. I need something to help pick me up. I'm going to help you. I'm going to go through variations of things to do to help you get to the next level during training. Nutrition. Everybody always has problems with nutrition, and the things. And it's like, do I have to eat the same things, or what do I eat at this point, and how do I lose weight, and how do I gain good quality mass? That's what the webinar is going to be for. It's going to help you get to the next level there. Again, there's going to be things in the kitchen. I don't have a good recipe for this type of food, or I hate eating fish, or I hate eating this. And the thing is nobody's ever taught you or just gave you a real solid answer of what to do. And that's what this free webinar is going to help you do. It's going to give you the tips that you need. I'm also going to show you some of the things that I use in the kitchen to help to make your life easier. So go check out SethFeroceTraining.com. We're going to have a free webinar up, and it should be great. I hope that you guys enjoyed my story and get ready to get some information, some real solid, real information.